I worry very much about the future of American democracy.
Are you going to run for president again?
I am 83 years of age.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure the American people will be too enthusiastic on somebody's on.
I would very with it.
Thank you.
What's going on, you guys? Today we have Joe Rogan getting slammed by the Vanguard. Joe Rogan has been out here grifting for right-wingers way too long. The Vanguard is calling him out. Let's get into it.
If you do want to react to a little bit of this Bernie debate or Bernie Joe Rogan, we can pull that up. It seems like they're addressing the Thomas Massie situation based on what I'm looking at in the transcript. So it seems like a good moment to kind of see what's up and see if Joe Rogan has any actual critical words to share about Donald Trump and the handling of the Iran war situation. Definitely interested if there's any criticisms here.
Yeah, let's see.
And I mentioned there's a guy named, I don't even know his first name, Mr. Massey. Is that name ring a bell?
Thomas Massie.
Thomas from Kentucky.
Yeah.
And this guy, as I am, is opposed to this war in Iran. Just yesterday, Trump gave a long post about how they're going to primary this guy. And what bothers me is you would hope that there would be respect enough for members of Congress that you can vote your own conscience. You could, represent your constituency. Every district is different in America. But right now, anybody stands up and say, well, I disagree with President Trump. Bam, you are finished. We're going to primary you. We got all kinds of money. You're out of there. That happened to Massie yesterday. But let me go back to the Democrats and tell you where the problem.
This episode is brought to you by Squarespace.
Oh,
If
what
you've
the
got a
fuck?
skill,
Rogan's
there's no
doing ads
reason
now
you
like
can't
this?
build-
I think he has been for a while, to be honest.
Oh, dude, this is such horseshit. You don't need to be doing ad inserts like that. That's crazy. He didn't used to do that back in the day. He used to get it all front loaded at the beginning of the
I thought he
podcast.
would always do the fleshlight shit.
Yeah, but he would do it at the beginning of the podcast. There would be all of the ads at the beginning of the podcast.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And he'd be like, each and every episode is brought to you by On It,
Yeah.
domain. Can I point something out? Don't you think that there's a Streisand effect to that? Don't you think that there's a blowback for that kind of thing when people recognize that this guy should be allowed to have his own opinions and make some reasonable points, and that people are going to reject this idea?
Maybe.
And that it's not as simple as I think the whole MAGA thing right now is very divided, particularly because one of the things that they voted for was no war. Well, now it seems like we're in a war, right? So and it's quick. We're 6 months in, and that's already popped off.
And this is really easy for Joe to, again, just bring this up, but he's not going to talk about who's the one that is starting all of this mess in the first place. It's a lot easier for him to say, oh, people are being split. The fan base is being split, but who's actually making the decisions? Who is letting down half of the people that he has swindled, I believe, and then the other half who are just actually outright, like they believe anything that Donald Trump will say. They actually will just drink the Kool-Aid of Fox News, of anything that is pro-Trump, right? But it's not going to be any criticism towards Trump. It's going to be Joe Rogan wanting to give his own spin on things.
And I love how Joe Rogan's line is, well, maybe it's actually a good thing that Donald Trump and the entire Republican institution are attacking Thomas Massie, because it could create a Streisand effect, and that, and then that maybe that's actually a good thing, because people are waking up. That's quite some analysis right there.
And then people are very concerned with now what happens to our troops overseas that are in these bases that are in vulnerable positions, and what happens with, there's supposedly documented terror cells that got in through the open border over the last 4 years. So what happens now in America? What happens on American soil?
Sure. No, I agree with those.
When a guy like Thomas Massie steps up and says something, he's going to have a lot more support as well.
The answer is yes. And my only point is he has a right.
Yes.
Somebody else says, hey, I think the war is a great idea. Fine, that's your view. You got to go back. But what bothers me is that if anybody stands up, the next day, we're going to primary. You're out of here, man. And that's the Republicans. Let me talk about the Democrats for a moment, okay? And I don't even know your views on this, so you may disagree with me. Israel was attacked by Hamas, and Hamas is a terrible terrorist organization. They killed 1,200 people, which in a small country like Israel is a lot of people. Terrible, terrible attack. It's a war crime. Israel had a right, in my view, to defend itself. But the Netanyahu government did not have a right to kill 52,000 people in Gaza, wound over well over 100,000, and right now, as we
He's dramatically underestimating the death count from what I've seen from people. It's over 300,000. So I don't know why he keeps repeating that 50,000 number. That's upsetting to me.
we speak, Joe, children are starving to death because of Israel's blockades.
Yeah.
Starving to death. And I brought forth 2 resolutions.
If you guys enjoyed this recap, make sure to like and subscribe for more.
Which basically were very simple and said no more U.S. military aid to Israel under these conditions. One vote got 15 votes in the Senate, the other one got 16. Do you think that members of the Senate do not know what's going on in Gaza? The kids are starving to death. The innocent people are being shot down right and left. They know it. Why do you think I couldn't get more votes?
They wouldn't vote against Israel.
Right.
It's political suicide.
Now you're talking.
Right.
All right. So in the Republican side, you have moneyed interests saying you speak up against Trump, you're out of here. In the Democratic side, you speak up against the Netanyahu government, you're out of here as well. And they have been successful. You have super PACs like AIPAC spending a fortune. You stand, and they have already knocked off a number of members of Congress, good members of Congress, and they will do it again. So all I'm saying is you got a corrupt campaign finance system on both sides, which is rejecting the will of the American people and end up supporting powerful special interests. And if we do not get a handle on that issue, I worry very much about the future of American democracy.
Are you going to run for president again?
I am 83 years of age.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure the American people will be enthusiastic on somebody's on.
I would.
Very with it.
Thank you.
You are.
Well,
I mean, you're a couple years older than Biden.
Yeah.
Right? Think of that.
Yeah.
You could be off a lot worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have been running around the country doing what we call the Fighting Oligarchy Tour, which is why I'm here in Texas. We were in Fort Worth last night. Had a good turnout.
Oh, hey, that makes sense. Can you pause it?
And I think
For posterity, I did catch the Bernard Dog in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which was when he got the news. Faye Shakur came on stage. Some lady in the crowd shouts, "We're going to war with Iran." Faye Shakur rushes out with a fucking statement from President Trump, and the fucking coldness goes over Bernie's face like, is this World War III? Nobody.
And look, I do agree with what Bernie's saying. I think that he should have challenged Joe a little bit more on the back and forth with, just talking about Biden, wanting to, like, Joe Rogan is wanting to obviously stand on his position. But the thing is that Joe Rogan's position is founded all on, nothing but contradictions. The entire MAGA base is founded on contradictions. But Bernie does allow him a little bit to, get off sometimes and to not have to face the music of, hey, look, that you're really just like this entire thing that you're doing is really just like it's just like a defense. It's like a complex that's going on, and it really could be a lot simpler for you. But Bernie's wanting to be polite, which is understandable. Because, he wants to have a good face, I guess, and wants to continue to not be a pariah. But, I think that it would really be good if he called Joe Rogan out on a lot of his stuff a little bit more.
Nobody knew, because it just said Donald Trump had struck 3 nuclear sites in Iran, and everybody was like, holy shit, what's happening? I guess a few days later.
Then they started chanting "No More War," which was then broadcast on Iranian state TV to show how at least some Americans aren't totally in support of this bullshit.
I was one of those Americans on Iranian TV. No more wars. I was loud. I was one of the first people that stood up and said, yeah! And then everybody else took a while to come up.
You said, yeah, when you heard about the bomb, and you're like, yeah.
So there we have it, you guys. We have the Vanguard calling out Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan going back and forth with Bernie Sanders as well. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, though, regarding, just this entire situation where just the brainwashing that has been done to our fellow citizens, like the people that are right next to you that have gone completely MAGA brained. Let me know what you guys think and where this is all heading. It's another day in the progressive way.